Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at Nendoroid Kaori Miyazono from the anime series Your Lie in April. It has been a fat minute since I've done anything Nendoroid related on this channel. Truth be told, life is busy, man. I got a job, I got a wife and kids. That's only partially true, but I still want to make time for Nendoroids. Because at the end of the day, I still am pre-ordering a few of these guys. I'm not collecting as much as I once was. COVID era was crazy. But I'd still like to take a look at these guys in a pretty laid-back fashion. I'd love to film these in less than 20 minutes and put together whatever I can. Maybe my insights will help a little bit with my history of collecting Nendoroids, what I know from back in the day. So the editing that you're used to is gone. We're just gonna be looking at figures, talking about them. Pretty much it. There's fucking like plastic bits from this guy that I'm building, a Zaku. What I'm saying is we've taken a step back in professionalism for the sake of honest, true journalism. So let's get her out of the box because the box is actually kind of cute. They used the background. If you haven't seen the show, you don't know what I'm talking about, but let's just say the very last time we see Kaori, we see this as well. And this pose with the crying and the... Wow, this is pretty fucked up. But excited, got this figure at SakuraCon, an anime convention here in Washington State. Alright, and those are the bare bones of it, as well as the paper sheet that shows us everything that's in this, included with this figure. What am I talking about? So honestly, before we get into like looking at anything specifically, let's just take a look at everything that she comes with. We got the figure here, two faces, the various arms, hand pieces, no extra leg pieces, and then of course the iconic violin and bow. Have to have that. It doesn't look like anything else comes with this figure, just the Nendoroid base, stand, and extra neck peg, just in case yours breaks. Sorry about my nails, guys. I've been chewing on these mothers. It's gross. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get her free. Let's give her rights. Let's open her up. How many different ways can I say that? So like I was saying before, I did get this figure at a anime convention, which, yes, that means I paid a stupid amount for this, because whoever was selling it had to make a profit, and they probably bought it in wholesale. So I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about that price. I'll put up the price that it actually is, and I'll put up a reaction image based on if I was close to paying that or not. So we're getting all this little plastic stuff off. Honestly, I hate this part. I'm just throwing it on the ground because I'm a monster. Alright, so here we have, let me put my light down just a little bit. So first impressions of the figure are actually really strong. The line work here and the paint application is phenomenal. Even the little designs that we see on the school jacket look really good. The face, I want to say, is accurate from what I remember, definitely to the anime. I remember her eyes not being gray, but actually that might make sense for the character. Hair sculpt is pretty good, if not a little bit generic. The shading is pretty decent. This kind of reminds me of an old school Nendoroid, where they look kind of generic, but that might just be the time in which this anime came out, where anime characters all seem to look like they came from the same show, the same eye design. So that being said, overall I'm gonna score this pretty high. It looks like Kaori from what I remember, although I think she comes with better expressions and things like that. So let's get into that. Alright, so she's on her Nendoroid stand, and speaking of old school Nendoroids, this is pretty old school, hiding the stand underneath the hair, making a room for it. very, very reminiscent of that. It could also just be that I haven't really purchased many anime girls recently, although that's not true, but maybe they just have short hair. Anyway, so let's take a look at her first expression, expression number 2, as identified on the top of her head. So if I'm being honest, this is really, really sad. This is sad to see. I hate seeing it, although I get it. If you've seen the show, you know this looks really good. I think it's one of, it had to be included. Unfortunately, for as happy as Nendoroids are, we had to get this version of Kaori. So I like it. And as a stark contrast, I promise she does not have bipolar disorder, I think. We get this really cheerful, really upbeat, super smiley Kaori face. Now you can't really tell it's her because obviously her eyes are closed, but it comes with this character. I think this looks really cute. I actually what the hell? I actually quite like the variety of expressions that come with this figure. Alright, let's get into her other accessories, starting with her arms. We'll bring this figure back just for a second. She comes with a pair of straight arms and open hands, really standard for all Nendoroids. Nothing much to say there. Oh god. So I'm not sure if this is, I mean, this definitely isn't how this is supposed to look, but she includes a super bent right arm and a slightly bent, she has a super bent right arm and a slightly bent left arm. Now the left arm is shown on the package to be holding this violin, which has pretty minimal detail, although it gets the job done. Love the sort of glossy varnish that's similar to actual violins. And so this bent left arm comes with this hand that's supposed to hold the neck of the violin, and this bent right arm comes with a hand that's supposed to hold the bow. But there is no way that I can currently figure out how that's supposed to look. And I'll show you what the box shows, which the box shows an obviously different pose, but why would they include it with this hand if it wasn't supposed to go with that? That's kind of confusing. I'll work on it later, but right now, user-friendly, not really. Alright, so this pose is closer to what the box art shows you. Obviously fits a little bit better, looks a little bit more natural. Still not perfect, although I've learned that the both the bow and the violin are made out of a softer plastic, the black part is, so you can mess around with posing it without worrying about like it gonna snap. Who knows what that's gonna look like over time, but for now it makes it a little bit easier to tweak poses that actually look kind of good. So there you go. And before I move on to her last pair of arms, I should mention these hands that she comes with. So she comes with a I told one secret right hand and a oh, I forgot the name of these. It's like a French dessert that she makes. But yeah, a little dessert holding, I think. Okay, so here's a pretty cute pose with that, telling one secret right hand. If you know anime, you know. Yeah, this is pretty iconic to the show as well, so as a fan, I'm pretty happy. And then I guess here's a little pose of her holding that dessert, giving it to, what's his name? I don't remember. Pretty cute as well. I do appreciate the variety, again, like I said, that comes with this figure. If you're a fan of the show, I think you're going to like it. All right, and finally she comes with a pair of arms that are carved in, as you can see, by the joint. These are meant to go either in front or behind her body. And she also comes with a pretty special pair of hands that are connected. Pretty cool pose, honestly. The light's kind of harsh. There you go. Pretty cool pose. You can see how the fingers are interlocking. So yeah, I'll show you that pose right now. All right, so here's the final pose. Yeah, as you can tell, that's heartbreaking. Again, gonna keep saying this drink every time I say it. If you've seen the show, you know exactly what this is from. It's executed really well, I will say that. I think the pose works. I think that for something character specific, it's on the money. The expression sells it for me. It's a really, really nice expression with these teardrops sort of building. I love it. It makes me sad. I'm not going to display it this way. But yeah, alternatively, there is a different way to pose this, and it's the mood is changed drastically based on which expression that you use. Because now, as I've changed the expression, we get a version of Kaori when we first met her. A whole bunch of energy, light, laughter, and love. And that's why I do really like the variety of expressions that come with it. I think they work with almost every posing display option she has. It changes the vibe, it changes the mood. I think that's what expressions should do when it comes to these types of figures. So I really like this. I think this is really cute. I'm going to try one last pose, and it will probably be the pose that I display her in for a while. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, one little tip here: if you're posing with these arms, if for whatever reason you forget which arms go to which side of the body, just remember that the buttons behind the sleeve of her jacket are going to be facing out. So if I were to have put this one over here, it would have been facing inwards, and that's just not accurate to the outfit. So something I could see myself honestly forgetting. So just helpful reminder there. I think I'll pose this here as well. When I'm trying to pose the Nendoroids, I usually take the heads off because they're so in the way. And then I just kind of stick them in there and try not to hit anything. And I do think something iconic about this character is that she plays the violin. So I'm going to try and add that to this final pose here. Might be kind of tough. We will see. But I think that looks cool. I think it adds a little bit more, like, I guess, movement to the pose, having some pieces go off in different directions, also having them not be super parallel to each other, but having them kind of perpendicular, I think adds a little bit of stuff to it. Well, it's kind of covering everything. If I move her head like that, and give this, there you go. I don't hate that. I actually think that that looks pretty cute. It's a little clunky, it's a little awkward, but I think her having the violin or even just the bow adds a lot. You kind of have to like break her neck, which doesn't feel great. Maybe in Photoshop I can have these eyes looking this way so it looks a little bit less weird. But I'll do one more pose because I'm not sold on this. Okay, so this is a cute pose as well. We'll figure something out for the photo, but yes, you can do a violin pose with both of these arms together. It's not great, but it actually doesn't look terrible either. As I talk more, I'll just put like the photo up and maybe the editing process. I really like this figure. I think it actually does a really nice job of capturing the character and all the many attitudes and interests that she has. So as a fan, I'm pleasantly surprised. I paid a lot for this figure, probably more than I should have, but I'm actually not hurting from it that much. I think it was actually pretty good. So thank you so much for watching. I know this is kind of a different style, but maybe this will be more manageable for me. Here's to hoping. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.